Morning Year 6 and welcome to Wednesday's home learning. Today we are going to be looking at the Charles Darwin text that we were looking at yesterday, but reading the last part of it. Before we start though, I'm going to give you 1 minute to try and remember 5 things you learned about Charles Darwin yesterday. Go. Okay, time's up. What did you remember? We read a lot yesterday, so there were lots of things you could write. Maybe when he was born, the 12th of February 1809. What he was a scientist, a naturalist, a biologist. Where he went on a journey on the HMS Beagle. What he did, he put a beetle in his mouth. Where did he go to school? Well, he went to a boarding school and he attended 2 universities. But I'm sure you've remembered lots more things. So again, like yesterday, what we're going to do is we're going to read Charles Darwin Part 2 together. So pause the video, open up Charles Darwin Part 2 and read along with your text at home. When you've done that, unpause the video. Great. So now you've read the last bit about Charles Darwin. First of all, we're going to check our vocabulary because again, there are some words in there that are a bit tricky. So the first one is controversy. If something is controversial, then it means that it's got opposing views and people disagree about it. So Charles Darwin's theory was very controversial and lots of people disagreed with it or didn't like what he was saying. The second word is heredity. If something is heredity means it's a characteristic or a trait that is passed down from generation to generation. For instance, if your parents have brown eyes, you will have brown eyes. If your parents have blue eyes, you will have blue eyes. The last word is transmutation of species. Now, this is specific vocabulary to what we are learning about and something that we wouldn't come across in daily speech. Transmutation of species is when something changes from one thing to another. Let's have a look where it is in the text. By this time, he had completely accepted that species could evolve, or to use Darwin's language, transmute. So it just means changing. Okay, we're back to our quick start questions. This time you've got 6. Again, quick questions. You don't need to write in sentences, just retrieve the answers from the text as quickly as you can. Pause the video, answer the questions, and then unpause and we'll go through the answers together. Great, let's have a look at the answers. Question 1. What caused Darwin's son's death? Scarlet fever. Number 2. How many editions of The Origin of the Species did Darwin author? He authored 6. What was his wife's name? Emma Wedgwood. How many of their sons became scientists? 3. The names were George, Francis and Horace. 5. Why did Darwin and his family move to the countryside? Darwin was plagued with ill health, so they moved to the countryside to get away from the smoke and dirt. And the last one, where was he buried? He was buried in Westminster Abbey. How did you do? So, the next question. Why do you think the correspondence from Wallace shocked Darwin? What emotions would he be feeling at the time? So this would probably be a 2-mark question. We're looking for why it shocked Darwin and how he would be feeling. The correspondence from Wallace would have shocked Darwin because it was what Darwin had been working on for years and years. Maybe he didn't think anyone was working on the same theory as him. The emotions he would be feeling, let's try and empathise with Darwin and put ourselves in his shoes. He might be feeling a bit frustrated. If Wallace put his ideas out there first, then Darwin wouldn't be credited for all the research that he had done. How else could he be feeling? He could also be feeling a bit cheated that somebody else had the same ideas and wanted to get there first. He might also be feeling happiness or support because he's found someone that's believing in the same things as him amid all the controversy. What did you put? This next question, find and copy a phrase which suggests the people valued Darwin's work. We're not looking for just one word and we're not looking for a sentence. We're looking for a phrase. Let's read it. Darwin's game-changing book on the origin of species, often called the most important book in the history of biology, became available to the public on November the 24th, 1859. Booksellers immediately sold all 1,250 copies. Pause the video and find and copy the phrase which you think suggests people value Darwin's work. Okay, what did you put? The phrase what we're looking for, the most important book in the history of biology. How did you do? Right, let's have a look at this next question. Why do you think people opposed him? Which side do you think you would have been on? Two-part question. The first part of this question is finding evidence from the text. So why you think people opposed him. What's in the text to say that people opposed him? And the second part is your opinion. Pause the video now and have a think why you think people opposed him and see if you can find evidence in the text. So an example answer would be, I think people opposed him because his scientific theories went against people's religious beliefs. The second part of the question is your opinion, but make sure you justify your opinion. Really looking forward to your answers on this question. Let's move on. So again, this is another question about vocabulary. What synonym could you replace the word plagued with? Let's read the sentence first. He would be plagued by ill health for the rest of his life. To answer this question, we need to think what plagued means. So a plague is something that happens really quickly and takes over a lot of people. So it's suggesting that his ill health happened quickly and not very nicely. What word would you replace the word plagued with? Pause the video and we'll come back for some answers. So let's have a look. These are the synonyms for plagued. Which ones would fit in the sentence? Let's try a couple. He would be infested with ill health. Think about how that changes the sentence. If something's infested, it's covered, it's everywhere. So we could use that. He was all haunted by ill health. Again, we could put it in there, but I don't think it gives the same effect on the reader. What words did you come up with? So our last task for today is looking at the picture on the text. This one here. In your opinion, why do you think the article includes this picture and what does it imply? And do you think it is an effective method to voice opinions? This question is about your opinion, but don't forget, we need to justify your opinion and give evidence of why you think that. So look at the picture. So he's got the body of an ape, a monkey, and the face of Charles Darwin. What does it imply? What's it trying to tell us? How does it relate to Darwin's theory? And the second part, do you think it is an effective method to voice opinions? Again, it's up to you. Make sure you evidence and explain your answer. That's all for today. I'll see you tomorrow.